Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory, back for my post-market wrap-up for this lovely day. And it was lovely, despite this, which I'm going to talk about, Monday, February 26th, 2018. Alright people, so let's start off with this. First of all, I was a bad boy today. Why was I a bad boy today? Okay, well, maybe because I put out a little bit of fake news. Oh boy, am I in trouble? What am I talking about? Well, if you follow me on my social networks, I put out a tweet and I posted this on Facebook and Google Plus and bunch of other places. I said, drivers, good news. There is a new law that is coming up for a vote, and if passed, well, drivers are not going to be held liable for accidents, no matter what the circumstance. The car is going to be held at fault. The good news, I said, was that again, the driver will not be held liable. Bad news is they're going to take your car. Now, obviously, I mean, most of you got this as sarcasm. Some people were shocked. And some of these were people that are on the left, interesting, that follow my work. And they couldn't believe it. How can an inanimate object be blamed? How possibly could an inanimate object be blamed for an accident or something? Well, you know, it's these same people that have gotten so dumbed down. It's the truth that they can't understand that it's the person, okay? In the case of even gun violence, it is the person, not the inanimate object. I can't believe some of you fell into that. It's kind of funny in a way, and if you did, and I do apologize, but you know, look, it's just becoming a little bit, in fact, a lot of it insane. It's incredible. So you've got, just give me a moment here. You got everybody now blaming the NRA, and you got them blaming those of us, I am one, who supports the Second Amendment. We're responsible for what happened here, this mass shooting in Florida. Meanwhile, let's see, the FBI got tipped off repeatedly. They did nothing. The local law enforcement got tipped off as well. They did nothing. Why aren't they being blamed? Better yet, why isn't the shooter himself being blamed? No. It's the gun's fault, according to those on the left. But when it comes to their own car, no. You can't blame the car. You have to blame the person. You got that? Look, I know you do. If you have even one fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a functioning brain cell, if you do not, then you're in a lot of trouble. And that's okay, because there's no hope. All right, now besides all that, let's talk about what happened today. It's kind of incredible. So earlier, when I was talking in my first video, I explained to you that although stocks opened higher, it was kind of a weak open, despite the fact they were buying up those bonds, dollar was lower. Then all of a sudden, we get, are you sitting down for this? Not one, but two rounds of abysmal economic news. The first shot across the bow, the big one in my opinion, was new home sales fell off of a cliff last month. Why? Well, because interest rates were rising. Does this sound familiar? I've only been telling people this is going to happen for like forever now. And then the second round of bad economic news, the Chicago Fed Economic Momentum Index is showing a slowdown. All of a sudden, two rounds of bad economic news and stocks took off to the races. Why? Well, it's pretty simple, isn't it? The Federal Reserve started to front run the stock market because they knew this was going to come out on Friday when they were buying up all those bonds. Same thing today. They were getting the market ready for these two rounds of bad economic news. We also had William Dudley, Fed president, come out saying, don't worry. This is what he said, that they would support the market even if it meant they needed to introduce more quantitative easing and or buy mortgage-backed securities. So today's rally was sparked off of not one, but 2 rounds of bad economic news, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished up around 400 points. Now, let's talk about these trades here real quick. Earlier, I explained to you that I was buying puts on GE. When the market didn't know what it was doing, I was up very nicely on that trade. If you remember, I had an up arrow. Well, to say the least, as cash started pouring into the market, that reversed pretty substantially, and I did take up this position, SPY April in the money calls, posted it all over my social networks at the time I entered the trade. So although my GE puts are down, this trade here made cash. Net today, I am down fractionally. I would have been down pretty hard if I did not introduce this trade here. Now, I am not saying that GE is done. I mean, if you were to go to message boards or listen to the talking heads on the mainstream, they're telling you GE is going lower, could even go to 11. No one has any idea. So we'll see what happens with that trade. We just put that on the back burner. As always, what did you do in case this happens? You took up a small initial position and you wait. That's it. You don't add to it or anything just yet now. We'll see how we're going to play that moving forward. But here's the story. And it really bothers me, I'll be honest with you. So the Federal Reserve knew we were going to get this bad economic news. They started buying up those bonds. This is called front running. They did the same thing today. Then we got those 2 rounds of bad economic news. The market loves bad economic news. It knows the Fed is stuck. It can't raise rates aggressively. It's going to keep the easy money going. And that's why we got this rally today. It is frankly disgusting. We have a managed market. Nothing is real about this market, people. And I know you get that. Anyway, so I really wanted to put a true light on what happened today in this market so you can put these things together. And it should make complete sense to you. It's more of the same. We saw the same thing under President Obama as well. Don't forget, bad economic news, no matter how bad it was, market kept going up, up, up. Let me tell you what I want to see. All of you know that I am a Trump supporter, although sometimes it's a little hard for me. That's the truth. But he keeps touting economic activity. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve, by their own measure, our economy is slowing down, housing falling off of a cliff. What is the Fed going to do? Well, they're going to keep the go-go juice going. There's no doubt about it. This is why Powell was put in there, so he would play ball. So we're going to see how this gets spun. But I can promise you, stocks in this environment are going to continue higher despite the distortions that we have. Despite anything else, doesn't matter. And everyone's going to be smiling gleefully until this all reverses. That is going to happen. When? Don't know, don't care. Till that time, we are going to try the best of our ability to capitalize on what is going on here. All right, with that said, I hope this whole thing made sense to you, including my opening remarks. And I'm just so curious to see if there's any other comments by those on the left that didn't understand my sarcasm. Over and out. See you in the morning.